The Galactic Council had existed for 12,000 years. Hundreds of species had joined its halls. Wars had been fought. Treaties had been signed. Civilizations had risen and fallen like waves against an eternal shore, but nothing in all those had prepared them for the silence. It began 3 standard cycles ago when the humans discovered they were not alone. A scout ship had entered their solar system. There were traders and explorers. They had contacted primitive species before. They followed the standard protocols. They broadcast greetings in mathematical sequences. They waited for the confused and excited response that always came. Every species reacted the same way. Fear mixed with wonder, questions flooding every channel, desperate attempts at communication. The humans did none of this. They listened, they recorded, they analyzed, and then they went completely silent. The captain reported the anomaly to his superiors. The superiors reported it to the council. At first, nobody paid attention. Primitive species were discovered regularly. They were curiosities, nothing more, but weeks passed. Then months. The humans continued to say nothing. They did not respond to any signal. They did not attempt contact. They simply watched from their blue world and remained absolutely quiet. Ambassador of the Dominion was the first to raise concerns. She stood in the great chamber with her 4 arms folded across her chest. Her people had conquered 30 star systems. They feared nothing in the known galaxy, but something about the human silence made her scales itch. "They know we are here," she said to the assembled representatives. "Their detection systems tracked our scout ship. They intercepted our transmissions. They understood our mathematics. We know this because they stopped all electromagnetic broadcasts from their planet within hours of our arrival. Every television signal, every radio wave, everything went dark." The chamber murmured with confusion. Species did not go silent when discovered. They shouted. They screamed. They begged for answers. Silence was not in the nature of intelligent life. High Counselor leaned forward on his ancient throne. He had seen 1,000 first contacts. He had witnessed the birth of empires and the death of worlds. His wisdom was legendary across the stars. "Perhaps they are afraid," he suggested. "Perhaps they hide like prey animals hoping the predator will pass." Ambassador shook her head slowly. "We considered this. We sent observation drones closer to their system. They detected the drones. They tracked every single one. And then something unexpected happened." She activated the holographic display in the center of the chamber. A blue planet appeared, beautiful and fragile. Around it floated thousands of objects. In the 3 cycles since first contact, the humans have launched over 4,000 new satellites into orbit. They have increased their military production by 800%. They have begun construction on massive underground facilities across their entire planet. They have moved significant portions of their population beneath the surface of their world. The chamber fell silent. This was not the behavior of frightened prey. This was preparation. "They are not hiding," continued. "They are getting ready." The delegate rose from his seat. His species was known for their logic and calculation. They had predicted the outcomes of 17 galactic wars with perfect accuracy. "Ready for what?" he asked. "They possess primitive chemical rockets, basic nuclear technology. They cannot threaten even the weakest member of this council. Their preparation is meaningless." A turn to face him. "That is what concerns me most. They have seen our ships. They know how far beyond them we are. Any rational species would recognize the futility of resistance. Any rational species would attempt diplomacy. But the humans prepare for war against enemies they cannot possibly defeat. What does that tell us about their nature?" The question hung in the air like poison. Counselor called for intelligence reports. Every empire had been watching the humans since the silence began. Each report painted the same disturbing picture. The humans were not panicking. They were not fighting among themselves. Their various nations had stopped their petty conflicts almost overnight. Ancient enemies were sharing resources. Rival governments were coordinating strategies. The entire species had united with a speed that should have been impossible. The collective shared their psychological analysis. They had studied human broadcasts from before the silence, their entertainment, their history, their wars. The report was deeply troubling. Humans are persistence predators, the representative explained. On their world, they hunted by following prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. They do not stop. They do not give up. Their history is filled with conflicts where they suffered impossible losses and continued fighting. They have a concept they call spite. It means causing harm to an enemy even when it brings no benefit to themselves, even when it guarantees their own destruction. The chamber grew colder somehow. They will not surrender, the continued. Whatever we do to them, they will find a way to strike back. Their silence is not fear, it is focus. They are studying us, learning our weaknesses, planning something we cannot predict. Months turned into years. The humans remained silent. They launched more satellites. They built more weapons. They dug deeper into their planet, and they watched, always watching. The Council sent diplomatic vessels. The vessels were not attacked. They were not welcomed. They were simply ignored. The humans would not speak. They would not negotiate. They would not acknowledge the existence of the galactic community in any way. The silence began to spread fear through the empires. The Trade Consortium reported losses in their stock markets. Investors were nervous. Nobody wanted to fund expeditions near human space. The Dominion quietly reinforced their border fleets. They began calculating scenarios. None of them ended well. Even the ancient firstborn, who had not involved themselves in galactic politics for centuries, sent observers to the council chamber. "We must act," demanded General of the Dominion. "Every day we wait, they grow stronger. We should eliminate the threat now while they are still primitive. One fleet could sterilize their world in hours." The proposal was met with unexpected resistance. Ambassador herself argued against it. "And what happens when we attack?" she asked. "We have seen their history. We know what they do to enemies. They will scatter. They will hide. They will find ways to survive that we cannot imagine. And they will remember. They will hate us with a hatred that spans generations. They will build their entire civilization around one goal: revenge." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. "Right now, they do not know our intentions. They prepare for the worst, but they have not decided we are enemies. If we attack, we make that decision for them. And I do not want to be the one who turns humanity into an enemy." General laughed. "You fear primitives. They cannot even leave their own solar system." "Not yet," I replied, "but they will. They are learning at an incredible rate. Their scientists work without rest. Their engineers build without pause. In 50 years, perhaps 100, they will reach the stars. And when they do, they will remember everything. They will remember our ships watching them. They will remember our silence in response to theirs. They will remember every decision we make in this chamber." The council debated for weeks. No agreement was reached. Some wanted war. Some wanted peace. Some wanted to simply leave the humans alone and hope they never became powerful enough to matter. But everyone agreed on one thing: the silence was unbearable. Finally, Counselor made a decision. He would go himself, alone, unarmed. He would land on the human world and request an audience with their leaders. He would ask the question that haunted every empire in the galaxy: what did the humans want? His ship entered the solar system without incident. It approached the blue planet slowly. For the first time in years, a transmission came from Earth. Just 6 words in the mathematical language they had first used. "One ship, one passenger, land here." Coordinates followed. Counselor landed in a field surrounded by human soldiers. They did not point weapons at him. They did not restrain him. They simply escorted him to a building where an old human woman waited behind a simple desk. She did not stand when he entered. She did not offer greeting. She simply looked at him with eyes that had seen too much. "You want to know why we stopped talking?" she said. It was not a question. Nodded slowly. His translator device worked perfectly. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. "Before your ships came," she continued, "we believed we were alone. We fought each other over land and resources and ideas. We were children playing with dangerous toys. Then you arrived, and we realized something terrible." She stood and walked to a window. Outside, human children played in a garden. They laughed and ran and knew nothing of the galaxy watching them. "We realized that the universe does not care about us, that there are powers beyond our world that could destroy us without effort, that everything we built, everything we dreamed, everything we loved could be ended in an instant by strangers from the stars." She turned back to face him. "So we stopped talking, we stopped fighting each other, we stopped wasting time on things that did not matter, and we started preparing, not to win. We know we cannot win, but to make sure that if anyone tries to destroy us, the cost will be higher than they want to pay." Felt something he had not experienced in 3,000 years of life: fear. "What do you want?" he asked. His voice was barely a whisper. The old woman smiled. It was not a threatening smile, it was sad, almost tired. "We want to be left alone until we are strong enough to stand as equals. We want our children to grow up without fear. We want time." She paused. "Give us time and we will be the greatest allies the galaxy has ever known. We will share our determination, our creativity, our refusal to accept defeat." She walked closer to him. Despite her age, despite her frailty, something about her presence made him want to step back. "But if you try to take that future from us, we will burn everything. We will make your victory taste like ash. Your children will have nightmares about us. Your empires will spend centuries recovering from the war. Even if you destroy us completely, you will never forget the price you paid." Returned to the council chamber 3 days later. Every representative waited in perfect silence for his report. He stood before them for a long moment, gathering his thoughts. "I recommend we grant them time," he said finally. "I recommend we give them exactly what they asked for." General slammed his fist against his seat. "You cannot be serious. You would let them grow stronger. You would give them the chance to threaten us." Looked at the general with ancient eyes. I looked into that woman's face. I saw what humanity is. I saw what they will become. And I realized something that terrifies me more than anything else. He paused. "I realized that they are not afraid of us. They have accepted death. They have accepted destruction. They have nothing left to lose. And there is nothing more dangerous in the universe than a species with nothing left to lose." The council voted that day. It was unanimous. Humanity would be left alone. No contact, no observation, no interference. The empires would wait and hope that when humanity finally reached the stars, they remembered the choice that was made. And across the galaxy, in every capital, in every military headquarters, in every throne room and council chamber, the powerful beings who ruled the stars did something they had never done before. They waited in fear of a species that could not yet leave its own solar system. They waited for humanity to stop being silent. And somehow, that waiting was worse than any war could ever be.